It's time for another segment of Mr. and Mrs. Medicare, saving seniors from a high cost of healthcare, debunking Medicare, making Medicare easy to understand for all seniors. All guests of any of the Medicare segments receive the free ebook written by your MedicareLady.com. Here are your hosts, Paul and Sarah Finkelstein.
If you're still looking for that ebook and you're approaching Medicare age at 65, you can get a free copy of that book. Just email me at wow@omgtalk.com. Just email me at wow@omgtalk.com and put in the subject line, I want that free Medicare book. And here's one more message from Tony. He's a real voiceover guy, not an AI. Check him out. And you can find him at TRC Voiceovers, trcvoiceovers.com.
You have been listening to the OMG podcast with Paul Finkelstein. We can help you build wealth without hogging your time. Schedule a one-on-one with us. Thanks for listening. Join us again for another OMG podcast segment.
Hi there, I'm Paul Finkelstein. Welcome to the 365 Days, 365 Speeches. You can join me in the studio now. Just go to omgbizcafe.com and up to 10 people I could hold in the studio right now. We could put some little boxes. So if you want to join me, feel free and I'll see you. But that being said, today's topic here, why dream big even into the new year of 2026. And I have a disclaimer for you, so I'm going to take myself off the screen and read that disclaimer. I'll be right back. All right. I do want to thank you all for being in touch here. It's great to have friends on Facebook or Facebook likes and all that, or real people in person, real friends, real clients, etc. But Paul Finkelstein is a very popular name. There's about 50 impersonators to my name. Actually, they have the same exact name as me. I guess their parents are more alike than different, the same as my parents. There's 50 Paul Finkelsteins on LinkedIn. I don't know about all the other ones, Facebook and other social media. So that means it multiplies it even more. But with the exact same first and last name. This Paul Finkelstein doesn't like to stay in the lines because he likes to think bigger than that. How about yourself? Do you like to think big? Unless you're okay with the status quo, mediocrity, you like that word? Never getting a raise from your job ever, or any increase in revenue ever, never, ever again, then you'll definitely be not interested, completely bored of this speech called Dream Big, or even maybe future entrepreneurship. But you will find this talk very, very boring, I'm sure. But I invite you to have a big open mind for some new concepts in the next, well, up to 20 minutes, but maybe stake it out for about 5 minutes. I'm Paul Finkelstein. Dream big, Paul Finkelstein. And now you get to meet me again. Hi, everybody. Good morning or happy Monday, Motivation Monday. Let's see if we're more alike than we are different. So, how many of you actually mowed your lawn when you were in high school? By a show of hands, are you like myself, or maybe a spouse, or maybe you had a brother or sister that did it, but they also had you do it because you had to fill in because they didn't do it that day when you were growing up, and you had to mow the lawn. If maybe, perhaps, maybe your dad or your parent, there was dust on the lawnmower in your garage. Maybe we're more alike than we are different if you were a lawnmower. Or even more, how many people here actually took that lawnmower and said, Dad, could I mow the neighbor's lawn? I could use a few extra bucks. And the neighbor is willing to let me do their lawn. So did you do their lawn? Then maybe we're more alike than we are different there. Maybe you did the other neighbor's lawn and you did the whole block and you started to have like a mini business, or you got a little taste of entrepreneurship by managing something all by yourself. You had to get the gas by yourself, the bags, the leaf blower, all kinds of things like that during the season. How about during the winter season? Maybe perhaps you actually had access to a snowblower in the Northeast and you actually went down the driveways all around your neighborhood, or maybe just your own driveway because it was just the family chore. How many people here operated that snowblower for your family? Then maybe we're more alike and we are different there. How about anybody here work in a kitchen? Have you ever worked in a kitchen? I don't know, whatever duty. You prep food, you wash the dishes, You helped out the host of the restaurant. You had a friend who owned a restaurant. Your dad owned a deli. Did you work in a kitchen? Any of those three things I mentioned, maybe we are more alike than we are different. And perhaps we're completely different. Not a big deal. I'm not trying to convince you. This is just a little bit of maybe fun, perhaps. A little bit of building rapport, because these days, how many people actually do that? Are they just looking to, well, they're looking to propose on the first date? So don't do Bruce as well. If you go to omgtalk.com, you'll see what I'm talking about when I'm talking about don't being Bruce. But millions of people want to own their own business. Millions of people want to own their own business. I've read so many books, and it is true. I mean, go ahead. I mean, waste some time, look on Google, fact check me, all those kind of things. But I know I've read that millions of people want to own their own business, but they just don't because of lots of factors. Fear is a big one. Fear is also a big one for the top three things that people fear in life, which are death, taxes, and public speaking. Fear, 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 fear. We've had presidents talk about fear. I think Eleanor Roosevelt talked a lot about fear as well. But why dream big? You know, there was this a game that my mom had the DJ play at when I was 13 years old, and there was a whole group of kids that were on one side of the dance floor. There was a big dance floor, and the other side of the dance floor was completely empty. And when that DJ said, Red Rover, send Johnny over," all of the kids ran to the other side of the dance floor. What happened? The last one to get there was out. I landed on my mom's lap. The photographer got a great picture. It got a great memory because mom passed away from ovarian cancer in 2019. She missed all this COVID crap. All right, so why dream big? But I will get back to that story, because that Red Rover story and Johnny, I'm going to equate Johnny to a story about the cash flow quadrant in Robert Kiyosaki's book, The Cash Flow Quadrant. And in there, it was like a dance floor. On the left side of the dance floor, there's employee and self-employed. The right side of the dance floor is investor and business owner. And many people, how many people would you think would be in the left side of the dance floor? Well, if I told you the statistics are that 95% of people are, that is 95% of 100 people in your phone, your friends, your personal friends, are dead, disabled, or broke by the time they get to 65. Many people that I've witnessed that. It's not a happy feeling. But that being said, why are 95% by the time people get to 65 are dead, disabled, or broke? And broke is not necessarily destitute, but just like they don't have enough savings. They don't have enough investments. They need to rely on Social Security for their income. These are serious things. These could be dire times for people. 4% are financially okay. 1 is rich, like over $10 million rich. They don't have to worry too much unless they make some bad decisions. And plenty of people make bad decisions. Now let's digress a little bit to the 6 amateur curse words. The first 2, let's get out of the way right away, because it's a 4-letter word. It's a curse word. It's called work. Well, sometimes it feels like it's a curse word, but discipline doesn't hurt, right? Effort spelled work is a different way. So those are the 2 amateur curse words, as effort and work, because amateur entrepreneurs are just not used to, there's certain disciplines that come with being an entrepreneur versus being different kind of work that involves when you're an employee. So there's a different kind of work than when you're an employee, when you're self-employed. Well, there's maybe more work because the employee has a time card and they clock in it when they clock in for their shift. Maybe the typical shift was 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning and they end at 5 o'clock. Okay, they clock out. Their work's done. They're just waiting for their check to arrive. Thank you very much, Mr. Boss. I did my work. I get my check. I did my work. I get my check. Now there's 4 other amateur curse words. There's procrastination. And there's comfortable. And there's tired. And I'm going to talk about tired because another word, sick. If it precedes tired, maybe you are ready to be an entrepreneur. If sick precedes tired. If sick doesn't precede tired, well, you're probably one of those people that are going to click off soon after the disclaimer, which I already read, and also this beginning first 9 minutes of this talk. Then there's tired. I said tired, right? And then there's mediocrity. Mediocre. If you're feeling a little taste of mediocrity, maybe it's an amateur curse word. that you're going through as an amateur entrepreneur. But why dream big? Maybe your dream is to go where the sun spends the winters on the beaches of the world. Maybe your dream is to, here's a place to travel where you see ancient ruins like the Parthenon in Athens, Greece, like my wife and I pictured over here. Actually, this here is that picture from years ago, what we looked like years ago. Not much different, right? Maybe a little younger-ish looking in the face. Perhaps, maybe you're going through that right now. But why dream big? Is there somebody out there that's saying, my job, I love my job? Said no one ever. I like my job. Said no one ever. My job is so sexy. I love it. If you are one of the lucky ones where you love your job, keep it. But not only that, but it probably makes you happy. And if it doesn't make you happy, you're probably thinking of ways to help it make you happy. And maybe you're a positive-minded person. Maybe you read the book Think and Grow Rich. It's amazing. We'll talk about some books that I recommend a little bit later, too. How about this? Have you ever thought, I'm not interested in a raise at my job. I don't want a raise. I want my boss to pay me exactly what I started with, and I don't want anything more because the cost of living is not going to go up. I don't need a raise. I make good money. What? What's that? How much is good money? Let's talk about why dreaming big again, to go where the sun spends the winters on the beaches of the world. Or perhaps maybe it's to travel places like the Parthenon, like my wife and I did over here. Here's a picture of us. It was amazing. Amazing trip. Did you know that you are surrounded by millions of people who settled for something less? You are surrounded by millions of people who settled for something less. Did you know that 95% of your peers by the time they get to 65 are dead, disabled, or broke? Only 4% are financially okay. And 1% are rich. That's like 10 million or more. But how do you get to 1 million? And is 1 million the number that you need to be financially okay? Can you retire on $1 million? Can you retire on about $70,000? If I figured out a way for you to get $70,000 a year for the rest of your life without a job, how much money would you need to give you $70,000? And is $70,000 enough for your current lifestyle? I hope you're thinking about these thoughts. I hope you're writing down some information because we got some more information coming to you. Wait, there is more. So why dream big? Let's go back to why dreaming big. Are you interested in going where the sun spends the winters on the beaches of the world? Or you want to do some traveling like we did to some ancient ruins? I learned about the definition of success, and I found this really cool definition of success. Success is the progressive realization of a worthwhile dream come true. Success is the progressive realization of a worthwhile dream come true. Success is the progressive realization of a worthwhile dream come true. But success looks different in the eyes of a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, a 40-year-old, a 50-year-old, a 60-year-old, a 70-year-old, an 80-year-old, a 90-year-old, a 100-year-old. It's going off the charts. Success looks different for all of us. But now take a piece of paper, and on the piece of paper, draw a circle. Does your circle look anything like this? Is it the little one, or is it the big one? Whatever circle you drew, draw a dollar sign inside it. You know, an S with two vertical lines through it. Now you have your circle with a dollar sign. That is called your income circle. It's a circle because that's the maximum amount of money you're ever going to make for the rest of your life. Okay, maybe your boss is going to give you a 2% raise, maybe a 3% raise. How do you feel about that? That's your income circle. And are you living within your income circle? And if you're not, I know you're probably using these plastic devices called credit cards. They can get us into danger. Now, how about you draw a circle around your income circle? Now, between your income circle and the circle I asked you to draw, that's your dream circle. How many people here have dreams? How many people still have a list of dreams when you first wrote them? How many people here are 20? How many people here are 60? How many people are 70? And of all of you, whether you're 20 or 70 or anywhere in between, still have those dreams, and still interested in conquering them and have a way to do it. Have you ever heard of the book Robert Kiyosaki by it's called Cash Flow Quadrant? And I mentioned this game I mentioned earlier called Red Rover, send Johnny over. Well, the cash flow quadrant, the employee and the self-employed person on the left side of the dance floor. And the right side of the dance floor is the investor and the business owner. We'll talk about what the business owner is later when we get together. But and same thing with the investor or the employee or the self-employed person, because if you read the book, you'll find out that those four things are all completely different. The employee, the self-employed person, the business owner, or the investor. Thanks for joining in, by the way. So now, how many people here do you think are employees? Well, I told you that 95% of 100 people on your phone are dead, disabled, or broke by 65. 4% are independently wealthy. 1% is very rich. If 95% are broke by the time they get to 65, do you think maybe perhaps most people are employees and self-employed people? You're either one of those. My statistically is correct that I know that that I'm talking to you right now, you are an employee or self-employed person. Statistically, it has to be. Only 4% of you are financially okay. And to get from an employee or a self-employed person to the business owner side, the other side, like that game that I played when I was 13 years old called Red Rover, send Johnny over, the DJ said when I was 13. And Johnny, think of Johnny as the person, you, that's thinking about if you're an employee or self-employed person, being over because you want more out of life and you want to be an investor or business owner, but you're not sure why yet. I do have some book recommendations, but they're not just yet. But I want to talk about why dreaming big in case you're just tuning in. Maybe you want to go where the sun spends the winters on the beaches of the world. Maybe perhaps I'm talking too fast for you. Maybe you're going to rewind and listen to this later. Or you want to travel the world like seeing the ancient ruins like the Parthenon. Who helps an old lady cross the road? Who helps an old lady cross the road? Well, a nice person, a mentor, a coach, a gentleman, a mensch, a distinguished Toastmaster, a kind person. But who helps an employee or self-employed person cross their road and wake up as a business owner or an investor if they have any interest in doing that? Because if they're not, they'll just stay on the other side. Those people are not even listening to this anymore. They tuned off. Well, who helps the employee become a business owner? A coach, a mentor, a kind person, an entrepreneur, a business owner who was once an employee. Like myself, I was a business owner. I had a mobile photography studio. I had that for 16 years. I know the ins and outs about and the trials and tribulations and trial and errors of owning your own business. Several different businesses. So, why does it feel good to help somebody? Why does it feel good to mentor somebody? Why does it feel good to educate? Who will teach you if I don't? And what will happen if you don't listen? So why dream big? Why don't people dream big anyway? I'll tell you why. TikTok, TV, Netflix, binge watching, other time zappers. We all have 168 hours a week, 45 years, and then poof, your life is over. Are you tired yet? Why dream big? Remember I talked about the word tired as one of the 6 amateur curse words? Well, here's that word sick. If sick precedes tired for you, if sick and tired of a boss, sick and tired of not getting a raise, sick and tired of being broke, whether you're 20, 30, or at 65, like the 95%, sick and tired of your income circle falling short of your dream circle. Perhaps maybe you are ready to dream big. But why don't more people do this? Here they are, the 5 or 6 reasons why more people don't want to dream big, why more people don't want to have their own business, because they have a certain kind of fear. We'll talk about what fear is in a little bit, but fear is something that might be holding you back. Lack of capital, lack of money, lack of knowledge, lack of education. Where do you get that knowledge from? Does it have to be college? Lack of confidence, which Toastmasters International could help you with the confidence for sure. But why dream big? Let's talk about that definition of fear. False evidence appearing real. That's the definition of fear. False evidence appearing real, because you need to break through those fears. You don't have to let fear hold you back anymore. You could use forget everything and run, the acronym for fear as well. But here are 4 books I highly recommend. The Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki, How to Be Rich by J. Paul Getty, Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz, and Think and Go Rich by Dr. Napoleon Hill. But why dream big? When you're ready to get your dream circle, you will dream big. And if your income circle is falling short of your dream circle and you want more out of life, maybe you want to improve your health, maybe you would like to dream big with me as well. So if you mow your lawn before when you were younger, you liked doing a snowblower when you were younger, you made some extra money, you worked in a kitchen when you were younger, and you want to dream big. Those four things, then we're more alike than we are different. Then I'd love to be in touch here. Put some comments in the chat. Perhaps maybe somebody already did put some comments in the chat. I had a couple of people actually say hi, so I'll put the hi back to you as well. And here's somebody else that said hi as well. So hi to you as well. Thanks so much for joining here with me with my Why Dream Big speech. If you want to go where the sun spends the winters on the beaches of the world, or do some more traveling like we did on our honeymoon, if you would like to have more honeymoons in your life, let's get in touch. Let's chat. Let's talk about some solutions. I have some solutions. If you don't have any, let's share them with each other. Email me to get in touch at wow@omgtalk.com. That's wow@omgtalk.com. Or text me, I want to dream big, Paul, at 561-302-0051. That's I want to dream big, Paul, at 561-302-0051. I'm going to give the beginning message as well. You could give my last word to your Medicare lady or my Medicare lady. Here she is, Sarah Finkelstein. This is about her. Tony talks about her.
It's time for another segment of Mr. and Mrs. Medicare, saving seniors from a high cost of healthcare, debunking Medicare, making Medicare easy to understand for all seniors. All guests of any of the Medicare segments received a free ebook written by yourmedicarelady.com. Here are your hosts, Paul and Sarah Finkelstein.
Thanks so much, Tony, for talking about yourmedicarelady.com. And that's yourmedicarelady.com. Or you could call her directly, Your Medicare Lady, at 561-302-5760. Your Medicare Lady at 561-302-5760. And Tony, I'll give you the last word because you're a great voiceover guy.
You have been listening to the OMG podcast with Paul Finkelstein. We can help you build wealth without hogging your time. Schedule a one-on-one with us. Thanks for listening. Join us again for another OMG podcast segment.
Thanks, Tony. Happy Monday.